Not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
Go easy on me, baby. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV 8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 comment and join in for fun. Email Nadia Foster at nfoster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aagrant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
96.1 The One is more than a station.
We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come up with things that you both know they will enjoy.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel.
Barbados is being told it may be necessary to relook the first-past-the-post election system. This is the view of former Government Minister His Excellency Noel Lynch. He made the comment during the Parliamentary Reform Commission's special diaspora Zoom hall meeting, noting he was making the suggestion in a personal capacity.
The usual alternative to first-past-the-post is obviously proportional representation. And I think it's about time that we start looking at the concept of proportional representation. And this is not everybody walking about with a briefcase claiming to be a political party that will get an opportunity to be in there, to be in Parliament. I think it has got to be with a minimum number of votes. You are entitled to some seats. In other words, a minimum. So we can have 16 political parties in Barbados and everybody walking around the place believing that they should get a seat simply because they have been adopted as a political party.
Mr. Lynch also believes the number of seats in the lower house should be increased to better ensure representation of the people, while the role of the Senate needs to be reviewed. He says a unicameral approach of a bicameral system of government should be considered.
Barbados needs more seats in the Parliament, because that way you give more of the personal touch that I'm talking about, and also you get more of an opportunity to get more people in. Barbados we need about 40 seats, maybe 45 seats in our Parliament, because we just don't have enough people to be able to deal with the issue. And I believe if you are able to do that, I can see Barbados' democracy growing and improving.
President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Rudy Lovell, has made a plea for more specialist teachers in primary schools. His comments marked the start of Teachers Week at the Providence Methodist Church yesterday. CBC's Trevor Thorpe was there.
The church is being told it has a role to play in education reform in Barbados. The BUT president says it can do so by joining with other local entities to help instill positive values and promoting rational thinking among students. Mr. Lovell told the congregation some of the issues affecting students in the education system will have to be dealt with during the reform process.
We also believe that education reform should be informed by action research done by teachers in our classroom. There should be a greater focus on numeracy and literacy in primary schools. As stated by George W. Bush, and I quote, "Too many of our children cannot read. Reading is the building block, and it must be the foundation for education reform," end quote. The foundation of the education system needs to be strengthened, and this should be done in the primary school system. There needs to be more specialist teachers in primary schools, in addition to remedial teachers.
Mr. Lovell also believes continuous assessment and curricular reform must be part of the reform process.
We need to create new curricula to replace those that have been in draft since the year 2000. While the educational interests of students should be considered, the national development goals must also be considered. Additionally, there needs to be a continuation of educational policies. For example, for the Barbados Secondary School's entrance examination, some children are afforded readers, but on entry to secondary school, these students are not always given the individual help they need, as if the problem they were faced with have disappeared. The problems have disappeared.
A professional development workshop, a ceremony to recognize past and present teachers, as well as a cricket match will help make up the activities of Teachers Week 2023. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Thank you, Trevor. Time now for sports. Mixed results for the Barbados team yesterday at the PanAm Games, as CBC's Damien Best brings us up to date.
The 2023 Pan American Games continues here in Santiago, Chile. It's day number 2, and Barbados had 6 athletes in action: weightlifting, swimming, artistic gymnastics, and of course our shooters were out in the field trying to make it to the final rounds. In swimming, Danielle Titus was way below her best in Heat 4 of the women's 200-meter backstroke. The 20-year-old swimming in lane 1 at the top of your screen came in with a qualifying time of 2 minutes 19.35 seconds and finished 8th, stopping the clock in 2 minutes 26.90 seconds. That left her ranked at 24th overall. She will be hoping for improvements in the 100-meter version tomorrow, where she will be in lane 7 at approximately 8:49 a.m. local time. In gymnastics, Anya Pilgrim in the all-around had a good first-time outing at the Pan American Games. The all-around includes the balance beam, floor exercise, bars, and vault. Pilgrim scored a total of 45.366. She had an 11.400 on the balance beam, 9.900 on the uneven bars, 11.266 on the floor, and 12.800 on the vault. That performance left her in 18th position and waiting to see if she can make the cut of 24 athletes for tomorrow's final, with USA locking out the top 3 positions.
I honestly feel pretty good overall. My very first event, I had an uncharacteristic mistake on my first skill, so that threw me off a little bit, but I left it at the event and just kept moving. And I had some new skills that I did put in from last time at Worlds, so I competed those well. So I'm pretty proud of how I did.
Jenny Rowland is her coach.
We had 2 days before World Championships to get ready, 2 days. And then really by the time we got back, had a little downtime, prepared again for this competition. It was only about 10 days. So we upgraded, made a few upgrades on the events, and just extremely proud of her for that quick turnaround.
In shooting, Misha Elliott fought back on day 2 and was 3rd with 48 to be 7th overall on 110 points, just missing out on making the final. On the men's side, Mike Maskell was tied for 14th after rounds 4 and 5 and finished 8th overall with 116 points. Monday will be the mixed team competition. In men's rapid fire pistol, Dave Seal was 20th overall with a total of 519 points after his final rounds. In weightlifting, Daniel Griffith was 5th with a best of 123 in the snatch and 158 in the clean and jerk for a total of 281. Well, last evening, as we would have reported, Barbados' brightest prospect in the boxing ring, Jabali Breedy, lost his 51 kg preliminary bout to Jose Gonzalez of Venezuela 5-0 on points.
My fight it wasn't a really tough fight, but it was pretty competitive. So the guy was running the whole 3 rounds, and the ref was telling the guy start running, and the judges give the guy the fight.
Another Barbadian, Charles Cox, picked up the slack after he defeated Omar Brito of Puerto Rico in the preliminaries of the men's 80-kilogram class. The referee stopping the fight 2 minutes and 20 seconds into round 3.
Very excited, very happy. Yeah, this is my actual first international win. I'm very, very happy about it. A little tired, but very happy, very happy. I advanced into the quarterfinals now. Made me one more step closer to medaling at these games. And that's the ultimate goal right now, just a medal. Getting to the Olympics will be the top tier in the semi-finals, but one step at a time. I just focusing on our next step right now, which is quarterfinals.
All in all, improvements for the Barbados team on day number 2 of the Pan American Games, right here in Santiago, Chile. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
And thank you, Damien. Great news. It's time for us to take a peek at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 10.1 millibars, is 27.8 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 85%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 13 kilometers per hour. The present weather is fair with slight haze. Sea conditions smooth to moderate in open water, with swells ranging from 1 to 2 meters and increasing. Here's a look at how your tides roll in today. Be careful as you head out for your early morning sea bath. General conditions, a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief scattered light to moderate showers. Into the evening, it will be clear with cloudy periods and a few intermittent scattered light showers. That's today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations on 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. It's time now for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you. It's Monday, October 23rd. All that's left to say is good morning. I certainly hope you had a great weekend. It was a busy weekend here in Barbados, and we had lots of rain, but I'm sure you had a good time, whatever you did. My name is Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. And boy, are we going to have a good time today. We have lots to get through, and of course, some very interesting topics to cover as well. I'll tell you about that in just a bit, but I'd like to start by letting you know that on this day back in 1970, His Royal Highness, then Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, opened the National Stadium at Waterford, St. Michael. The journey to this point started on May 5th, 1966, when the Barbados National Stadium Corporation was established by the Act of Parliament with a clear objective to provide a stadium adequate for the development of sport in Barbados. Following the dissolution of the National Stadium Corporation, the National Sports Council was established on February 1st of 1978. Initially, a site at Weymouth was identified for the stadium, but the waterlogged soil precluded large-scale construction. So land was acquired at the present Waterford site through a donation by the JCs. The generosity of this organization was formally acknowledged in July 1997 in the form of a commemorative gate at the stadium. The images of construction were taken from the pamphlet National Sports Council 25th Anniversary 2003 edition. And we'd like to say thanks so much to the museum, the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, for that information. So interesting stuff. We'd certainly love to see the National Stadium restored to its former glory. Lots of things have happened through the years at the National Stadium that have added to not only sports but cultural events. So looking forward to that. In the interim, good morning to everyone in the Bush Hall area. I don't ever remember going to a show then hearing people talking about the noise, but we know it used to be a lot of noise in that area. Hey, we have to go straight into this next topic, which is very interesting, and it should be very interesting for you as well. We're telling you about a cybercrime conference that's coming up, anti-money laundering and cybercrime regional, and it's a hybrid conference, which is what a lot of people are reverting to now, getting a lot more people involved. Obviously, since COVID, we've been allowing people to kind of come on in, but when we're talking about anti-money laundering and cybercrime, this is the perfect option. So let me go right ahead and welcome a few people who are here with me. I have to say good morning to Neil Hines, Senior Cybersecurity and Forensic Consultant with Digital Technologies and Services. Hallam Hope, Managing Director of Hope Communications, Inc. And we're being joined by Edward Millington, Principal Security Consultant and Information Security Senior Lead Risk Manager, Founder and Managing Director, CariSec Global, Inc. We're hoping that we'll be joined by who's supposed to be our online guest, Neil. I'm not sure if he's going to make it on this morning, but we most certainly have Edward Millington and Hallam with us. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning to you, too. Pleased to see you as usual.
Pleased to see you again, Hallam. I think this is twice in a matter of days.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
it is.
Absolutely. So set the tone for us. Since I started speaking with you, talk to me about this particular conference and why you feel it's timely right now.
To show you realize that over the last couple of months, we have been having a number of cybersecurity attacks, mainly within the Caribbean and globally. And just only recently, the Europol actually took down a pretty well-known ransomware gang. So I think that it was, after communication with Hallam and a number of other entities, I think this is the right time that we have something like this here, especially during the period where Barbados itself was actually, we're listed. We're in a high monitoring state when it comes to money laundering. So cybercrime, the move to digital currency, and digital IDs, everything's moving digitally. There's a rush to, where businesses are going through a full digital transformation process. So this is, I think, is the right time. It's just outside this month of cybersecurity awareness month. I think it should draw a fair bit of notice to what we need to be focusing on within the Caribbean itself.
All right, how have things changed, over the last few years with the introduction of digital currency here in Barbados on a grander scale? Because we most certainly have heard about it, but these days people are far more engaged. They're far more interested, certainly post-COVID, on doing a lot more online, and that was the thrust of a lot of financial institutions. We like to call ourselves, or think of ourselves as being in a digital space, but there are not a lot of platforms that permit us to do digital transactions from start to end, and I think this might be one of the major challenges that we have. So we started online, but somehow we have to end up meeting up and exchanging money or swiping a card or something of a sort. So share your thoughts on how things have been going generally in terms of being online and mixing that with money, which is what it really is.
Well, the main risks, as Helen will soon highlight in this area, which is blockchain and especially cryptocurrency and so forth. COVID had ushered in an event very quickly, and one would have noticed if they're paying some attention to the type of attacks and so forth. Cyber risks actually went up during that period. Now that everything's calmed down and so forth, it have given businesses some time to refocus slowly into strengthening their digital transformation process, regardless of where it is, if it's in banking, e-commerce, etc. But you also have this competitive nature, global competitive nature in the world, and you find that a lot of budget school tours trying just to be competitive, and then security is always at the forefront. That it needs to be constantly be tested. You cannot test today and then at the end of the year or next to say we will retest again. Culprits are always willing to compromise systems. So you'll find that digital wallets, you're seeing a lot of digital wallets being accessed. Unauthorized persons are losing their cryptocurrency and so forth. So I think that you will find that as people move towards a digital transaction or systems that allow digital transaction, they are now coming under attack. Cell phones, which you can store your wallets, etc. All those mobile devices, since they're not able to always compromise a bank or the solutions provided, they're now coming towards us as individual users. So therefore, the need to understand how cybercrime affect us. And once that money is stolen, regardless if it's physical or in cryptocurrency, we now need to be able to track that. Where is it going? Is our systems able to monitor who's going to invest in our business? You know, someone who's want to do banking or to buy, let's say, digital currency, and to move that money from, you know, dirty money, as we call it, into clean money, etc.
All right, Hala, I'm told your particular area is blockchain and cryptocurrencies?
Yes, and whether in some AI as well and all that sort of stuff. So as we heard from the Caribbean Court of Justice's conference last week on crime, restorative justice, crime is everybody's business. So regardless of whether you are a politician designing policies and legislation and rules and regulations, of course you've got government working for you, or the 6-year-old, the 10-year-old, or the teenager who's trading in cryptocurrencies, money laundering and cybercrime is an issue for all of us. And the key issue really is education. It's absolutely important that we understand that this technology is growing. It's becoming more and more complex. It can actually ruin us financially, right? Earlier this year, I actually, as Edward mentioned, I actually had a offline hot wallet, cryptocurrencies, and it was swiped. I was informed, well, something's going to happen, go and look out and make sure you clear yourself. But no, my entire wallet was cleared of the cryptocurrency holdings I had. Of course, it wasn't a big deal for me, you know. But we have new issues related to artificial intelligence. For example, if I wanted to teach you, I could actually clone you. You know, as beautiful as you are, I could actually clone you. I could clone your voice. And I can go out there and say, well, Tisha is now calling her aunt or her mother in the United States, and she has a major health problem, and she would like $2,000 US, $5,000, please rush it quickly. And your voice would sound so real. Yeah. Your image would seem so real. And people actually get caught in these things. So although artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies, they all offer fantastic opportunities. As Edward mentioned, they also bring with them a lot of demands and responsibility on us as governments and individuals to look after our affairs, because it's very complex. And the criminals are out there working very hard. And you would recall this year, a good example, I think, was when the Queen Elizabeth Hospital was compromised. Now, that affected your health records. It meant that your doctor could not go into the health system and look up your health records. So how could he treat you? So cybercrime and money laundering are major issues, and they're increasingly becoming major problems for us in the Caribbean.
Absolutely. I know that Europe most certainly is leading the charge on really trying to come up with rules to really govern what's happening in the digital space, and we've been seeing some changes in different parts of the world as well, the US, and I would imagine that we're working to play catch up in this part of the world as we should. So there's a conference coming up. It's the Anti-Money Laundering and Cybercrime Regional Conference being held in a hybrid kind of fashion. Tell me more about it and how people can get involved.
The conference itself, let me put it together. We want to highlight that terrorism move has now, if we label it correctly, you know, have cyber terrorism. As Helen would have just mentioned, the QEH, that's a national security issue, and it also becomes a grave issue for us. So the conference really is to look at cybercrime in its full general context from the different agencies, our discussion, and then we move into money laundering, how we can identify what is the risk within the Caribbean itself. We have the Honorable Dale Marshall and Ryan Strawn. There's a possibility we might also have the Caribbean Chambers of Commerce. We also have Candace Huggins from First Caribbean discussing that very major issue, because as you already know the Caribbean itself is labeled as a total region. So while Barbados, let's say Barbados and Jamaica might have some issues with money laundering, the whole Caribbean is looked at as a high-risk environment. How does that affect us from a political, social, cultural, and
certainly business standpoint?
From a financial standpoint, I mean, all these things are wrapped into it. Our own financial, and I say all the other developments. So the conference itself is to provide that context, not only from the honorable ministers communicating about it, but also know your customer. Why is it that when we go to the insurance or we go to places, they want our information and so forth? So we actually have chatted with the compliance unit, which is a government unit, to highlight, we need to do more work to highlight to us as customers why we need to share this information. And not only that, to make sure that our information is safe. All systems are safe, because we might want to do these things, but if our systems are compromised, we don't know who's actually in control. So the idea is to add that twist. What are the processes in reducing risk within the Caribbean, and how we can make sure that the systems are safe in that discussion itself.
And even though you'll be looking at ways to keep us safe, you're also going to be highlighting, as I understand it, some of the developments in the area for people to look forward to, for people who most certainly are very interested in the digital space and how that will change our world. I'm sure that will be a big drawing card. For the conference, how do we become a part of it, though? How are we able to sign up or get involved?
Because the conference is hybrid, and we still have a number of seats left for the in-person. You can visit our website, carisat.global, CARIS as in Sam, EC.global, and you can see the ad right there. You can easily click on it, and you have the option for virtual or in-person. You can register. It's a fee there, $450 if you're virtually, or $950 if you want to join us in person. In person gives person the flexibility to also networking. We have breakfast in the morning, we have lunch, and then once everything's finished, we then have a cocktail session. So it gives everyone the ability to, if you come to the event in person, work might miss you for a little bit, but I think that the information exchange is going to be very valuable in all particular topics itself. Yeah.
All right, excellent. Any final words from you, Hallam?
I would just say that we are seeing some businesses that are spending a lot of money, and it's very, very costly not only to protect yourself against cybercrime and money laundering, but then if you have issues, then the further costs. One of the major concerns that some companies have told me is that while they're spending a lot of money and they believe that some of their systems are quite safe, what about the self-employed persons, the small businesses? They may not be able to bear all the costs associated with the money laundering and the cybercrime. And, again, we have to keep educating everyone, as I said, from the politician to the person who's bringing our garbage and cleaning our garbage, to teachers. It's really a holistic, all-in-one education program that needs to continue with the support of persons like Edward and yourself as well.
Absolutely. So I definitely will be calling on you guys to talk more about it in the drive toward educating the public more, because people are locking up their homes, they're buying cameras and putting out there. You're watching your cameras online, but you're not considering how other people can watch you as well. So,
who's watching the cameras?
Who's watching you watching the cameras?
That's right.
So lots to really talk about and lots to do. Remember, the conference is really meant to get you in the know, enable technical experts, industry practitioners, and leaders in the public and private sector alike to convene to exchange perspectives on cybercrime, cybersecurity, financial fraud, and money laundering issues, all impacting our region and businesses as well. The conference aims to strengthen public and private sector relationships and to combat further political or cultural, societal, and technological developmental threats. So you definitely should go online and find out more. It's coming off on Friday, November 10th. You still have a little time, 9 o'clock. This was the entry into it. It will be at the Sagicor Cahill School of Business and Management. Hopefully we're going to get the guys to come on back and tell us more about it so that we can stay more in the know. And who knows, maybe we can commence some type of segment so we talk more about cybersecurity, cybercrime, and how it truly can affect the average person. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, teachers. Thank you very
All
much.
right. We're going to take a break here. And when we come back, now there's often a lot of talk about secret societies And a lot of people don't know very much about what's happening. So there have been tons of stories through the years that I most certainly have heard. So when we had an opportunity to sit down with some interesting gentlemen who are a part of one of these societies called the Grand Order of United Scottish Mechanics of the Universe Incorporated, we absolutely took it. They're here, and that's next. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's summer vacation, and CBC TV8 says laugh a little. Your mid-mornings have now included some family-friendly, side-splitting series like The Partridge Family, Benson, and Designing Women. TV not to be missed this vacation. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on CBC TV8. It's Match Day Live from the 246 with host Damian Best. Your all-access pass to the action happening in the BFA Premier League and beyond. Every last Monday of the month on CBC TV8. Kickoff time, 8:30 p.m. with analysis from our panel and highlights of the top performances. You can weigh in on the discussion via WhatsApp on 228-5562. It's Match Day Live from the 246. Don't you miss it.
My friend. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back to Morning Barbados. Good to have you with us on this Monday. Started out pretty rainy for me in the St. Philip area. I don't know what was going on in your neck of the woods, but ironically, I was all over the place this weekend. I was in St. Lucie yesterday, and it was very rainy in St. Lucie and almost flooding and rushing water and all that stuff on my way back to St. Michael. And then I drove through St. Peter, and as we would say in Bajan parlance, it was dry as a biscuit. So there was nothing going on there. I have to say a very good morning to Venerable Brother John Ferdinand Remington Allen, founder of the Supreme Grand Lodge of the Grand Order of United Scottish Mechanics of the Universe Incorporated. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you.
And also here, Venerable Brother Whitfield Randall Batson, Provisional Grand Master, Caribbean and South America, under the Grand Order of the United Scottish Mechanics of the Universe Incorporated. We had to get those titles in a few lines. But it's wonderful to have you here with us.
I'm very glad to be here too.
Absolutely, and welcome for this very important visit. Now I'm going to start with you, Brother Whitfield Randall Batson. Talk to me about the importance of this particular trip, even before we get into the organization itself.
Well, yes, certainly. It's a triennial convention that we've just concluded. And I must say, we made history in 2012 when we had our Grand Lodge, or any mechanics Grand Lodge for that matter, had its first convention outside of the United Kingdom. We bidded for it, and we were granted. So we then went on to Guyana in 2015, because we have chapters in Guyana. And then in 2018, we went to England and back here to Barbados in 2023. The importance is that conventions is a time where we are able to get all of our chapters together from wherever, whether it be Guyana, the United Kingdom, or Barbados. And if there's any resolutions to move, any rules to be changed or amended, that is the time for it. So that's the significance, basically. And to have it in Barbados, as you know, it motivates the brethren to know that their brethren are coming from all over the place. So quite enjoyable, I must say.
And I'll give you the opportunity to introduce Brother John Remington Allen.
Sure. John Remington Allen, I met him over 40 years ago. I joined the...
You're 21-year-old.
Say again?
You were 21 years old.
That's right. I was only 21 years old. So that, if you do the math, you know how old I am now. So what it is basically is that I had an uncle called Floyd Reed, and he probably saw that I needed some help. 21 years old, you know, I wasn't a bad boy, but definitely might have been hanging around with some, you know, some characters. Yeah. So he introduced me to join this fraternity, and who John headed, a founder member. Since then, we've grown to be very good friends, and he's my mentor. A very knowledgeable man in terms of fraternity. He got the rights, Scottish rights, to start this organization, and it grew to some 21 lodges throughout the United Kingdom, now in Barbados and now in Guyana. So he's done a lot of work over the last 40 years.
All right, so Brother Remington Allen, talk to me about, you know, where this all started for you.
For me, I civilized my life by making a decision of my own to leave Guyana, where I was born and brought up, to come to England. And that was a very bold move for a 23-year-old. Because I had nobody in England, I knew nobody, so I just took a chance. And I found that I had to learn a lot of things for myself. I had to learn to live alone. I couldn't cook, so I spent all my money in restaurants to begin with. And then I was attracted to organizations from the church to start with, to learn a lot about God, Jesus Christ, the disciples, and the people that motivated others to rise above their own beliefs, perhaps, to start with. Because at that time, all you read in the Bible, they were governed by the Old Testament. A lot of killing, Cain and Adam and so on, this kind of thing, and killing each other out in battles and so on. Whereas in the New Testament, you find that it's all about Jesus coming to save the world through love and all of that. So I got, since I was a young boy, interested in reading the Bible a lot and finding out what happened in those days and how it came about. And the constant mention of God in everything, it seemed all embracive to me at the time. I always loved the Bible. I always loved the Bible. And so I was attracted to the mechanics simply because the first best friend I had was in the mechanic craft. But of course, this was under American jurisdiction at the time, and all the rituals and stuff were coming from America and whatever. So that was my first interest in people, really, in a way, because in order to circulate what we were being taught at the time, you know, you had to meet a lot of people from different countries as well. But I never actually joined it. But I have friends all around inviting me to various functions that they might have. I always went to them.
Why didn't you join?
I think the major thing was some of my friends didn't seem to be touched by it the way I was. And they were doing some things that I didn't agree with. And I was feeding off of them. So I took a color of the whole thing by how they behaved. Looking back now, it's just a bit harsh for the organization, because I found out that the members, or some of the members, I should say, were not actively exploiting the situation for the good. You know, they were doing things that I, as an ordinary person, not a member, considered to be something I would not do, you know, either because it was illegal, or sometimes it hurt other people. So that is the reason I was not into it. But then one night I was at home, and one of my friends, same friends, brought an old gentleman. I remember so well when he stood in the doorway. It was summertime, and the sun was shining on his hair. You're
a good storyteller.
And I didn't know this man. And but my friend got him home and bring him into my house. And I come in and he took a seat. So he said to me, your name is John? Yeah, yes, my name is John. He said, I've heard a lot about you. He talks fast, you know, the guy was talking really fast. I've heard a lot about you. You hate people like us. I said, just a minute. I don't hate anybody, you know. He said, well, no, it's probably a strong word to use, but why don't you join? Your friend here is a member, and you can see from him that he's doing well and so on and this kind of thing. So I said, can I cut this whole thing short? I'm not a member because I don't like how he behaves. This is my friend. It don't suit me, and I don't think. He said, well, the thing about this is, that's your opinion, right? So if you think you're right, why not prove it by coming and join, and in time, you will be in a position to change things. Be a game changer rather than staying from outside and criticizing.
So be the change you want to see. And that was the beginning.
Yes, that was the beginning.
Of all of it. Now, we know of secret societies, even by name. I mean, just by referencing it. Of course, you call them fraternities.
Yes.
Yes. I guess for the uninitiated.
I like that word.
Yes, for the uninitiated. You know, it feels as though, you know, there's something untoward going on. So I think for people, for many years, people were scared of even broaching a conversation.
True.
Even now, people still talk about maybe, you know, some under the books things going on that people still fear a great deal.
Yes. Well, secret societies, we prefer to say we are a society with secrets rather than a secret society. And yes, it probably suited some fraternalists to keep that myth going. I remember when I was very young, you know, sometimes I go to my friend's house, and it was almost their parents threatening them that the men in black suits are going to come for them if they don't behave themselves and all that kind of thing. Fortunately for me, I was raised with my uncle, who was a fraternist. He joined in America, and so I knew that he was a good man. I knew that. So I always had an interest in mechanism because the way I saw him act, basically. So to say that what has happened though, that is the past, I do believe, because even the Grand Lodge of England is now being more visible. Yes, and for me to explain the secrets, I would have to give you a little history.
Well, here's the challenge. Trying to even fit this into this short interview, we kind of have to lay the groundwork so that you're
so
able
that
to
people
share.
would understand.
And we most certainly don't have that time.
Yeah.
So when are you leaving?
I'm leaving.
He's leaving today.
Today.
Yes.
You're leaving
I'm
today?
going to Guyana.
So this was my last chance to,
That's
to
right.
speak
That's
to
right.
you while you're here.
That's right.
And I know you don't look it, but you are
91.
91 years old.
Yes.
That is truly amazing.
And I'm doing what I'm doing for over 50 years.
Wow.
55, I think.
Well, that in and of itself is a conversation.
Yes.
But it's so intriguing. We definitely have to set up to have an extended conversation. I would love for you, gentlemen, to share more. It's great to hear that you are willing to share.
Oh, yes.
A whole lot more about it because
the fear factor that you mentioned.
Yeah,
we'd
through
like
the
to
years,
talk a
people
little bit
have
about
been
that.
very, very fearful.
Yeah.
And I think even when people see certain signs on cars or if they see certain rings, and, you know, there's talk
they look
of
beautiful, though.
That's right. What I would say, though, is that it is not what people think. Our concept is to make good people better. So good people better. That's the objective by using a system of morality. So that's what it's basically about.
That's wonderful. Yes. It certainly was good to have both of you with us. We will have to speak some more. Are you leaving today as well?
No, I'm not. Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow.
Yes, we're off to Guyana.
All right. Yes. Where in Guyana are you from?
Georgetown.
Okay. You're from Georgetown.
GT.
Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you for sharing with us, brother. The organization called the Grand Order of United Scottish Mechanics of the Universe Incorporated, here for a conference.
Yes, that's right. Convention.
A convention. It was most certainly good to speak with you. and we are going to continue this conversation. I'm going to hold you gentlemen to it.
Yes, I will.
Well, I'll be back soon, so
Yes.
yeah. Anytime.
Could I leave 3 words with you?
Absolutely.
Brotherly love, relief, and truth.
Yes.
We start from there. For our organization, it's all about brotherly love or sisterly love for each other as children of God, relief of the distress of the world at large, and truth, which is the virtue that we would like to see in everyone, to know that your word is your bond.
Brotherly love, relief,
and truth.
And truth.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Safe travels today.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. We
All right,
appreciate it.
Absolutely. We certainly hope that we have stirred some interest in you so that when we continue the conversation, you will be far more open to sharing with us. Just past 3 minutes after 7 o'clock, we're going to take a break on Morning Barbados and come on back. Stay with me.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm Anne St. John, a consultant pediatrician. When packing healthy lunch boxes, do include a fruit, which includes a banana, apple, orange, or grapes to supply fiber. Aim for low-calorie packaged snacks without the mention of flour or sugar amongst the four ingredients on the back label. 1 in 3 children in Barbados is affected by overweight or obesity. Let us join together as parents and care providers to reduce the further development of this chronic non-communicable disease within our communities.
Hey, not only grown-ups can sing, we can too.
I was still a child, didn't get the chance to.
CBC TV 8 is having a kids karaoke show just for us. So children between the ages of 5 to 17 comment and join in for fun. Email nfroster@cbc.bb. Hear you soon. Bye.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock on this October 23rd, time for an update of the news. The colonial narrative around the Barbados Landship has to be deconstructed in order to take things beyond what happened pre-emancipation. This as the movement celebrates 160 years. Member of the Advisory Committee for the Barbados Landship, Dr. John Hunt, in an interview with CBC, explained what's necessary in order for all of that to take place.
It certainly came out of the spontaneous, organic way in which communities would form and create displays, so that each group created their own sense of who they were and expressed who they were and the uniqueness of who they were through the movement. In the immediate post-emancipation period, we started to codify some of those terms in order to keep it relevant and also to keep it in the minds of those in that, in a period that was less appealing for people to participate. In the immediate post-emancipation period, we would have had to have dealt with people who could have gone to other sources for welfare or other sources for aid, when in the pre-emancipation, in the post-emancipation period and in the 19th and 20th century, the Landship became the spot for self-resilience and self-reliance. So now that we're in a position where we can truly liberate the idea of Landship out of that colonial mindset, we would want people to be creative, to use the information, what they understand about the Landship or what it represents in terms of Barbadian African heritage, and then to begin to create, because we think that in those schools, in those threads, will be information that we can take back to our past and then take forward into our future.
Barbados is being told it may be necessary to relook the first-past-the-post election system. This is the view of former Government Minister His Excellency Noel Lynch. He made the comment during the Parliamentary Reform Commission's special diaspora Zoom town hall meeting, noting he was making the suggestion in a personal capacity.
The usual alternative to first past the post is obviously proportional representation. And I think it's about time that we start looking at the concept of proportional representation. And this is not everybody walking about with a briefcase claiming to be a political party that will get an opportunity to be in there, to be in Parliament. I think it has got to be with a minimum number of votes. You are entitled to some seats. In other words, a minimum. So we can have 16 political parties in Barbados and everybody walking around the place believing that they should get a seat simply because they have been adopted as a political party.
Well, that's our news preview. We most certainly will have a more in-depth newscast for you at 12 noon here on TV8, which will be followed by the World at 1 on our radio network of stations. We'll take a break here and come back with more Morning Barbados after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
For the past 19 years, QFM has been sharing with you, learning from you, and together building a community for all mature audiences. That's why we say Q is good for you. To our Q family, we say thank you for staying connected to Q 100.7 FM. QFM is a station of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. CBC, celebrating 60, connecting Barbadian communities.
Are you a youth group, 4-H club, school, Cub Scout or Brownie Pack, or any organization or club with children ages 4 to 11 years? If yes is the answer, then we at Fun School, we're looking for you. Let's have fun singing, dancing, listening to amazing stories, doing craft, and so much more. I'm such a kid at heart. But to be part of this fun and exciting new season of Fun School, just simply send an email to Alicia Alves Grant at aa.grant@cbc.bb for further details. Fun School is back, and we're looking for you.
While you go about your business.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 7:11. Welcome back to Morning Barbados. Good to have you in company wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We know lots of people watch online as well to get a taste of Barbados and find out exactly what's happening. I don't know about you, but I feel like that last conversation didn't even touch a tip of the iceberg. Definitely not enough time. So we are going to have to delve into it more. I promise you, I will take the opportunity to have a deeper conversation with those gentlemen so that we can share. All right, so let's welcome some people who are having the time of their lives. We just had the launch of NIFA 50, that's right, celebrating 50 years. And one of the major planks when we talk about NIFA and the arts is most certainly dance. So let's welcome Alicia Payne-Hurley, who's Cultural Officer for Dance with the National Cultural Foundation. And she's brought a national icon, Cultural Arts Director and Teacher at the ACCPA K8, Kansas City, founder and director, Art in Motion, Black Dance, School of Dance, Kansas City. I probably muched it up, but you're going to get it right. Danny Diallo-Hines, a name that we've all come to know and associate with dance here in Barbados. So welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to say, first of all, welcome home.
Thank you.
Officially on air. Good to have you with us. And I'm going to let Alicia set the tone because in this 50th year, you guys are doing it big. Hence why Danny's back here.
Yes, Tisha, 50 years of NIFA, I keep saying our golden anniversary. We are so excited. And of course, you know, each discipline has an ace up their sleeve, and this guy right here is mine. Danny Diallo-Hines, anybody in the world of dance, and even some of those of you who are not in the world of dance, but people often enough knows this guy right next to me. Former cultural officer fantastic teacher and administrator for the arts, and we've brought him home for some national workshops this week.
All right, so Danny, talk to me a little bit about, your stint outside of Barbados. What took you away from the island, and now what you'll be doing now that you're back?
Well, I received a call back because it's the place that I was working before I came home. I came home in 2001 from working at the African Centered College Preparatory Academy, and they asked me to come back. And while sitting in the office at NCF, wasn't always as I wanted to be, but I took the job and went back to it, and I've been there ever since. So that is a good position because it helps me to focus in the community and work with children from pre-K all the way to 8th grade.
All right, and now you're here to do some workshops this 50th year of NIFA. Before you jump into what you'll be doing, it must be a real honor having worked in this field for many years and worked to develop many people who are dancers. Right now, some of the biggest names that have really reached their pinnacle or are heading there. You've worked with them, so it must be a real honor to see NIFA at 50.
It certainly is, and I like to see, I'm happy that Alicia gave me a call to come back, and it makes me feel national again, that kind of pride. Being back here, being able to bring my style of dancing, my teaching, my level of teaching. My focus is education. I don't so much like the lot of glow of dance and for people to say, I'm better than this and I'm better than that. I want people to understand the technical structure of dance, especially African dance, or you would say ethnic dance.
All right, so tell me about this style of structure of dance that you're talking about.
Well, it's technical and it's cultural. It has its foundation in heritage. A lot of people don't go on that side. They just do the glitz and glamour. Some people come in a workshop to learn a step or two, to go back and put it in choreography, but not connecting the dots of culture or connecting the dots of heritage. The expression of dance has its base, it has its qualities, and people don't even deal with that. They just dance. The technical structure of it is how you form your body, how you shape your body, how you place your body, how you align your body. A lot of that get lost because dance in Barbados is heavily contemporary based. A lot of dancing goes on in Barbados based on contemporary style of dance, ballet, classical ballet and stuff, but it don't really have a focus of developing cultural style of dance. And we are of African descent, and I think our focus should be to develop that. Have that as the foundation. You can do anything else. But a lot of people who go and study contemporary dance and ballet dance have a struggle to transform that technical structure to the ethnic structure, which is in two different positions. Ballet, contemporary is turnout, ethnic dance is parallel. And a lot of movements, when you teach them, people do them in a turnout position and it loses its quality, it loses its flavor. So a lot of people don't spend time studying the technical structure.
All right, now from where I sit, a lot of dance is commissioned, as in entertainment purposes. And then, a lot of the other dance is done toward competing.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like there are a lot of outlets even here for our very great dancers in, all different areas of dance to be able to truly express themselves. So in this 50th year, I would imagine this is one of the reasons, Alicia, why you decided to bring Danny Hines back, to be able to get back to the core of what dance is truly all about.
Well, yes, when the NCF's team, the name came around the table, everybody said yes. Time to bring Danny home. And as you would know, the NCF has been working very hard on offering intangible cultural heritage forms in the community. So we've been looking at our Landship, as you would have mentioned, we're right in the 160th anniversary of that. We've been looking at our African or West African or Afro-Caribbean dance and offering that across Barbados to persons, you know, whether you're dancers or whether you're a dance enthusiast or you want to be a dancer in another life, we've offered those classes and we continue to offer those classes. And so that along with 50th anniversary of NIFA and what NIFA means, the mandate of NIFA to develop the artists wherever you may be. You know, this was a perfect opportunity to have, you know, our Baba Danny back home with us to give us what only he can in a style that only he can. I can tell you my phones have already been ringing off.
Her phones,
and my emails,
not just one, her phones.
and my email is quite full. So this workshop, these 2 workshops this week, you know, I will say get your spot quickly.
Oh, wonderful. Let's delve into more about the workshops.
Yes, tomorrow, Tuesday, at the National Cultural Foundation Dance Studio, 6 to 7:30, there is a junior dance workshop. This one is for dancers with a bit of experience. So dancers from the age of about 8 and 9 to about 15, we'll bring you into the studio and you'll have an experience like no other with our Danny here. And then from 8 p.m., a dancers workshop again for adults in the studio. And on Wednesday, that one is for the general public. So if you know you've done a Danny class, because one of the things that our former cultural officer here was quite famous for was his ability to mobilize the community in that dance studio and bring Afro-Caribbean and West African dance to the people. So this is your chance to get another taste of Mr. Diallo Hines before he goes home again. Or, well, he's home now, before he goes back again. Yeah, so 6 p.m. on Wednesday at the National Cultural Foundation Dance Studio, West Terrace, St. James. These workshops are absolutely free to the public. And you can email me to register because you know they will fill up quickly. So Alicia, ALICIA-Payne-Hurley at ncf.bb.
That's long. We're going to have to get that on screen, right, Danny? So people, because people are thinking, we really want to register, but I forgot that email address already.
You can call me too.
Kidding.
You can call me as well, 233-1661.
Yeah, that's easier, 233-1661. What can people expect? I know Alicia talked generally about, you know, the various workshops and so on, but what's your game plan going in?
Well, one, like I was saying before, is technical. I've developed something called Black Dance Tech, which is to formulate a structure of movement as well as uses of the body. And I'm connecting mental and physical. A lot of people just do it. Like you said earlier, it's entertainment. Yeah, people dance for entertainment. They don't dance to develop growth. But that's my intent. And the dances that I would be doing is a cross-section of Caribbean dance styles as well as West African dance styles. West African dance taken from the old Mali Empire, places which used to be Mali, is now Guinea, Senegal, Gambia. So those regions of dances.
All right, that's truly exciting. Again, you mentioned that for the first workshop, Alicia, you expect people to, you know, have a little bit of a background in dance?
Yes. On Tuesday's workshop, it's really for dancers with a bit of experience. Danny's going to go hard, just like they like it. Wednesday's workshop's open for anyone.
All right, so you definitely should sign up for it. And I most certainly am intrigued. I am not going to try dancing
Why not?
with Danny again.
You
I
carry,
learned my lesson.
You carry my name.
Back in the day, I do, but I learned my lesson back in the day, Danny. I'm not coming back.
Come on. I'm sure Belle coming, right?
I don't know. We're going to have to call and ask her because the last time she managed to convince me to go.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
And Tisha, it would be remiss of me not to mention that I walk around with this guy on the NIFA logo right here, this guy right here. So this is also a part of the reason that he's here. He's our homegrown talent. He's represented culture in dance and also, you know, as a dancer and the famous dancer on our NIFA logo.
Oh, that's truly exciting. I didn't see that. Must truly be an honor, Danny, to be able to be brought home to represent in this way in this 50th year.
Yeah.
Must mean a great deal to you.
Yeah, and exactly what she just said. That has been used for 40 years. About 40 years now, that's been the logo. Many people in Barbados don't know it.
Danny, I'm going to have to represent you in some IP, man. Intellectual. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you hit it on the nail. You hit the nail on the head.
Behinds got to stick together.
Yep. I mean, it was utilized and was never directed to me.
IP, Danny, IP, intellectual property.
She's being bad.
I most certainly am going to come out, even if it's just to take it all in. But I know it's usually an exciting time when you're in the room. So good to have you back home. And we most certainly look forward to hearing a whole lot more about these workshops. Alicia, always wonderful to see you, my former schoolmate.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break here. Make sure you come out. The National Independence Festival of Creative Arts, NIFA, of course, is a stage where dreams are born, talent shine, and the heart of Barbadian culture beats proudly. And in 2023, they're turning a remarkable page in the history of NIFA as we celebrate 50 years of excellence. These workshops really will help dot what we're talking about. So, they're little ways for us to continue on towards this excellence. It's time for another break. When we come back, more here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Oh, hi. My name is Stacia Whitaker, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and a member of the Heart and Stroke Childhood Obesity Prevention Coalition. My motto is, when in doubt, leave it out, and it goes for when I'm eating, because sometimes things have ingredients that we're not sure of, and I like to keep it simple. And if I'm eating something and I'm not sure the ingredients in that particular thing, then I choose to leave it out. So I keep my snacking simple with fruit, nuts, or just water. It's easy to remember, there's no added ingredients, and it's also very nutritious. So remember, childhood obesity is real, so choose healthier alternatives. And when in doubt, leave it out.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
25 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday morning. Pretty rainy outside today, so make sure you walk with your umbrellas. Now, I want to urge those of you who are, driving your vehicles, particularly the bigger vehicles, with those bigger tires, you have to be careful when you go through the water, because even yesterday I was here at work and we were receiving a lot of calls of people being splashed. So, you're cool and safe in your vehicle, and then you're going through the water so quickly that you're splashing pedestrians. Not a good thing to do. And most certainly as Barbadians and people who look out for our friends and neighbors and are as friendly as we proclaim to be, it's not a good idea. I know sometimes you can underestimate the depth of the water, and that can create some problems. But just, say in your mind you're going to go a little slower when it's raining outside. If you have to rush, that means that you left home too late. All right? So just look out for the pedestrians, and we wouldn't want to hear any of those little ones who are dressed in their beautiful school clothes heading out get splashed and have to go back home today. So be careful as you move around. 27 minutes now after 7 o'clock. This month of October, we really have been focusing on breast health and breast cancer awareness with this particular series with Dr. Dale Springer. He's a consultant general and breast surgeon with the QEH. So good morning and welcome back, Dr. Springer. Always good to have you with us.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me again.
All right, now we've been taking this in steps. So through the weeks, we've talked about everything from testing, getting checked, diagnoses. We're to the point now where last week we talked about surgeries and what the possibilities are there. So let's get into what happens post-surgery. I would imagine it depends on, what your diagnosis was and how you were treated will determine what happens after you have this surgery or what stage of cancer would have been discovered.
Right, so that is exactly correct. So after surgery, we send the specimens to the lab and we get what is known as the pathological stage. So that gives us the stage that the cancer is at. Before surgery, when we have done our investigations, that would give us a clinical stage. But then afterwards, it goes to the lab and we get the pathological staging. And then this pathological staging helps us determine if there are any further therapies that are needed. And one of the common therapies that we often prescribe after surgery when we get this pathological staging is chemotherapy. Yeah, and chemotherapy or the chemotherapeutic drugs are drugs which are usually administered intravenously or sometimes they can be given orally that can kill rapidly dividing cells, mainly the cancer cells.
All right, so that definitely is some interesting stuff. What are the benefits, though, of operating in this way or doing things this way?
Right. So when we give the surgery and then the chemotherapy, we're basically trying to eradicate all the cancer cells from the body. So surgery is what we call a local therapy. It works on the breast, but the chemotherapy now goes throughout the body, and is perhaps one of the most important therapies, maybe even equaling or eclipsing surgery. It's so important that sometimes we even give the chemotherapy before the surgery because, as I said, it goes throughout the body and you start to attack and kill the cancer cells from an early stage. And we can even kill cancer cells that we cannot see with the conventional imaging, such as the CT scan. So that's the main benefit of giving the chemotherapy.
There obviously is some fallout because you're killing some of the cells that you can't see. But I know based on, how people feel and what's happening with them, it can really be a challenge going through the chemotherapy.
Yes, again, that is definitely correct. Some patients have heard about it or the side effects that other patients have had, and they're a bit reluctant sometimes to have it. Sometimes we hear about the nausea, the vomiting. Sometimes you can have diarrhea. You're more predisposed to infections. Then you lose your hair sometimes. So patients hear about these side effects sometimes and they're a bit reluctant. But we only offer chemotherapy if the benefits of it outweigh the risks and we think that you're fit enough to take it. Yeah, and the main benefit is to decrease the recurrence or decrease the spread of the cancer. So yes, there are some side effects because when we're killing the cancer cells, we're also killing some of the healthy cells, but it definitely does have a long-term benefit for patients in terms of survival. And
All right.
it's also safe. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so talk to us about, because we hear about chemotherapy, but we also hear about radiotherapy. What's the difference and how do you determine, what's needed?
Right. So again, it depends on the pathological staging or the staging after you have done the surgery, or something's based on the clinical staging you have done your investigations. So the radiotherapy now, this is when you use concentrated energy rays, similar to the X-rays that we use when we take fractures, or energy rays, light we can't see them, but concentrated rays that we use to kill cancer cells. But unlike chemotherapy, this is another local therapy. So it's usually directed towards the breast or the area under the arm where we call the armpit or the axilla. But again, the goal is to kill any residual cancer cells that we may have there.
What are the complications that come along with this level of treatment?
Right. So in terms of radiotherapy, sometimes patients will have local complications to the skin. So they can get rashes, irritation of the skin. Sometimes you can get redness of the skin. Sometimes the area becomes hard and becomes swollen. It becomes a bit firmer. So local complications. In rare cases, can even have the effect similar to burns. And sometimes you can have damage to the underlying organs. So we normally target the breast, but sometimes the lungs or the heart can be damaged. But this is very rare, And before you start the therapy, the therapy is planned carefully so that we target the exact area that we want to deliver the therapy to and try to spare these other surrounding areas. So again, it's a safe therapy for patients to have, even though there is a potential of complications. Overall, it is very safe, and the main goal or the main aim of this therapy is to help reduce local recurrence of the cancer.
All right. Now, I know that coming up later this week, you are a part of, is it an interactive lecture and discussion? It's called A Team Approach to the Treatment of Breast Cancer. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this is happening on Thursday, October 26th at the NUPW headquarters from 5 p.m. until 7. And we'll be discussing the treatment of breast cancer. We'll look at it, the surgical treatment. I'll be speaking on that along with my colleague, Dr. Stefan Soberis, who's an anesthesiologist, consultant anesthesiologist, and he'll be speaking about the anesthetic aspect of the management of breast cancer. That's something that we don't often think too much about, but it is very important. So we encourage the public to come out. And more so, not only will we be discussing, but we will also be taking questions throughout the seminar to try to answer any questions that you may have in these areas concerning surgery or anesthesia or the general management of breast cancer here in Barbados.
How do you find we've been doing in terms of breast cancer awareness and having more open and honest conversations about it? I seem to remember a time where people were very reluctant to even admit that they were dealing with what they used to call the big C. They didn't even want to call the name, and most certainly for women, it seemed to be, any cancer diagnosis is difficult, but I seem to recall where a lot of women used to have a particularly difficult time, even with their partners in the diagnosis back in the day. So how have things changed?
I think persons are becoming more open to discussing the diagnosis and dealing with it. And this is good because it actually helps to bring in your support network. So when persons discuss it with their close friends, their family, so forth, they're able to actually support them through the treatment and encourage them sometimes where they may be a little disheartened or feel a little bit down. They actually encourage them to continue with the treatment. So I think things are becoming more open, even though unfortunately we do see some patients, which I would say are the minority, who kind of hide the diagnosis from their family and then they only present at a later stage. So these are the cases that we really do not want to see anymore. We want to try and get cases at an earlier stage where they can be treatable with less intensive therapies.
All right, that's good stuff. I absolutely, I'm intrigued by this interactive lecture and discussion on having a team approach to the treatment, because sometimes I know, of people who talk about you have to go different places to get different scans or to be checked, and it's almost as though there's no communication among all of the various organizations or institutions or places and doctors. So you're dealing with illness, but then you have to deal with the whole idea of just being able to share information and repeat yourself over and over again. And so I'm happy to hear that you're having this conversation on how important it is to really take that team approach to treatment and how much easier you can make it for the patient.
Yes, definitely. It's all about patient care. Unfortunately, we don't have all these facilities centralized in Barbados as yet. But what I will say, though, in our system now, when we diagnose a case of breast cancer, we actually have a meeting called the multidisciplinary team meeting, where the breast surgeon, other surgeons, the oncologist, the radiologist, the pathologist, we discuss these cases and what we think will be the appropriate management for each case. Yeah, so even though these are decentralized, we still do have this situation of coming together where we actually consider each case, each subspecialist considers each case and then gives treatment recommendations, again, to the idea or the aim to try to optimize the outcomes for patients. And that's very important, the MDT, right? That's part of our team approach to treating this condition.
All right, excellent. Now this session comes off October 26th, 5 to 6:30 at the NUPW auditorium. So make sure you get in there even if it's just to listen in or, to find out a little bit more. Thank you, Dr. Jill Springer, Consultant General and Breast Surgeon at the QEH. Always insightful with your presentations.
Thank you for having me. Have a great week.
And you, thank you so much. It's time for another break. When we come back here on Morning Barbados, we're talking health, even more, natural health. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Enjoy movies, soaps, drama, comedy, inspiration, education, music, and more. You get it all when you get MCTV, because MCTV gives you more.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
98.1 to 1 is more than a station. We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so he is officially part of the CBC team. I mean, he's always been a part of Team CBC. If we're honest, people always used to say, especially coming up to crop over, you always hear blood on CBC. No, it's official. I mean, he is, I think he says he is an entertainer who presents and not the other way around. Let me say a special good morning to Anderson Blood Armstrong. Ooh,
Good
the crowd
morning.
goes wild.
Good morning to you, Tisha. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Good to have you on Morning Barbados. Always really interesting to figure out what you're up to. You're one of these people who has just been able to morph. I mean, shift and pivot through the years.
Oh,
And
yes,
just
indeed.
generally, I mean, you're a producer, you're an entertainer, you're a songwriter. You can add radio
Actor.
announcer to that now because
That's
you're
right.
also on 94.7 FM. So talk to us about how that stint came about.
Well, I was called, and when the station started up, I made a guest announcer appearance one evening with DJ Chili, and during the session, he asked if I was gonna come back, and I made a little joke, and as I made the joke, Pearson, he pushed the door and he said after the shift is finished, he wanted to have a conversation with me. And so we had that conversation and about coming and actually, being a long-term guest announcer. And I came home, I thought about it, I returned to Pearson, and that's where it all started. In fact, this week, coming Friday, is going to be 3 years that I have been a guest announcer on 94.7 FM. I'm now part of the I'll take a bow. Yeah, so and I've been having a fantastic time each week I'm there, and we have so much fun. It is the best afternoon show ever. That's right.
Absolutely. I remember that very first guest stint because I was also seconded to radio
Yes.
for the launch of the station and stayed for a year and a half, maybe, if that long. But, radio is my first love too. But for you, you
Yes.
used to joke and say that all you wanted to do, and I think this is what drew Pearson in. You said all you wanted to do is to do a time check.
So true. I don't know why, but I've always been intrigued by the time check, and each time I came on the radio, for years and years and years, I wanted to do a time check. And now I can do as many time checks as I feel like.
So let's talk a little bit more about the best afternoon show ever, and some of the things that you've been able to do in this wonderful 3 years.
Oh yeah, man, we've been through some things. Now you can, when you catch me, I have a segment called the positive vibes that comes just around after 2 o'clock. So if you're looking for something uplifting in your life or some positive words, we share that on the afternoons. Then of course we have a segment called Fact or Fiction. It's a little game thing, you test your memory and you test some trivia, and people call and they WhatsApp and they answer, and you can make a wild guess. You don't even have to know the answer. You can make a wild guess whether it's fact or fiction, and have a little fun when you call me. So we have that. Then we share things about around the world. We share what's happening today. Each day there's a celebration. People celebrate different stuff every day around the world. So we share that with you as well. And of course, those people who are celebrating their birthdays or anniversaries, we have a nice little segment for you as well. There's a lot of information, a lot of laughs, a lot of music, and so much fun on the best afternoon show ever with Mr. Blood. And hey, Christmas, Independence, and Christmas is coming, so you can look over even more stuff coming your way. So you just got to tune in 94.7 FM 2 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday with yours truly, Mr. Blood. I'm telling you, bon.
How's it different for you? Because you've always kind of been in the stations. I mean, Blood is no stranger to the stations. We've always had you in kind of interviewing, talking about upcoming shows, or releasing your music, talking about what's happening with you. Now you're behind the mic in a different way.
Ooh. Yes, it's kind of different. If you're not kind of different, it's a lot different. When you come in and you're just doing your promotion and whatnot, you've got that 1 hour or half an hour to do everything that you plan to do and set out to do and that kind of stuff. But then you've got 4 hours on the radio and you've got to keep people entertained. I think, and that's how I approach it really. Trying to be able to entertain people, make them laugh, or whatever the case may be, have them. Give them the information that they need to have and that kind of stuff. So I always work at it from an angle of entertainment anyway. I remember when I first started coming to the stations to do my promotions and whatnot, I was there so often. Derry herself used to meet me in the staircase and, you can soon be working here one of these days, and that was like 11 or 12, more than, that was in the early 2000s, 1999, 2000, coming through 2006, and all those years that I started promoting my albums and whatnot. And she used to jokingly say, "You're gonna soon be working here at CBC," And look at it, here I am. I'm a part of the CBC family, and it feels really, really good. I love walking up those stairs and meeting the smiles, especially you, Tisha. You've got a bit. You are always smiling. I don't know if you'd be angry, if you'd be sad, but you just always have a beautiful smile. So anybody coming to CBC and wants their spirits lifted, hey, you can meet Tisha in the hallway, and it can happen. It's true.
Yeah, as my mother says, I always grit my teeth.
Yeah, they used to tell me that as a youngster as well too. My cousin Michael, he always used to say, if I didn't have any ears, my head would fall off because my grin keeps my head.
I don't know. I have lots to smile about. I just happen to be a happy person.
Well, that was awesome. So am I. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So, Blood, you do so much. Up to last night, we were on the phone working on a project together.
Yes, indeed.
So I know you're still into production and you do so much. How are you able to kind of balance the work, personal life? Because Blood is always somewhere performing at something, have something going on, and still you're producing, you're on air, you're announcing. It's a lot. You're a new dad. He's
yes.
Your little one has gotten a little older now, but I would imagine that kind of changed your pace. He's going to be 3 already?
In December, that's right. He's going to be 3 already. Yeah, it has changed my pace somewhat. I've had to cut out a few things like partying and whatnot, excessive partying, mind you, because I still party and I still go hang with the boys every now and again. But you've got to balance things if you have a goal in mind and you want things to work out. I'm still producing, so I make sure I set my time aside for that. Proper time management, basically, for every single thing. My workouts, when I go into the gym and that kind of stuff, so I can keep fit and that kind of. And so it's like time management and passion and a love for what you do. I love music, first of all. I love entertaining. I love acting. If I was to get into a play now, I would have to find time to be able to practice and rehearse and go and that kind of stuff. So I still have all this stuff going on, but I would still have to make time. So it's proper time management, and of course having that passion and love for what you do. And I do enjoy announcing. I've really grown to love it. I mean, at first it was just like fun for me, but I've grown to really, really enjoy doing what I do on the evenings with 94.7 FM.
That's wonderful stuff. And I know that you really came to national attention for your entertaining from a very, very young age. Then you went on to be a part of Square One. And then we saw you in another iteration when you formed your own band, Soca Cartel. You got into producing. So, I mean, you truly are a rounded entertainer. And it's wonderful to have you as a part of the CBC family in the way that you do on the Bajan station.
That's
a lot of people, I think when we were launching, a lot of people were saying, is this enough music to be able to sustain a radio station dedicated to local music outside of soca? Because we know that, there is a lot of soca music. But let me tell you, once we started to get into that music, like we could play Bajan music of all genres for days on end without playing all of it.
Without even touching a soca song. That's the truth. You can play 4 hours. Oh, yeah. We've got tons and tons of music and so much talent here in this little island. When you hear and you play the music, sometimes you wonder, wow, was this made here? Just recently, I discovered a band called Sundown Superhero. They've been around for a little bit, but I mean, when I first heard them, I heard a Christmas song by them first. It was last year. And so I started researching, and then I realized that these guys have got some really, really good stuff. Then they did a remake of Saucy, which was phenomenal to me. So it's like, yeah. And when I first started writing, actually, I didn't used to write soca music. I was writing soft rock and ballads and that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff with those bands like Fighting Traffic and Threads of Scarlet, and those guys, they really intrigue me. They pique my attention, and I pay a little bit more attention. In fact, sometimes I play a good sweep of those guys, and I'm wondering to myself if the fans that sometimes the older people don't holler for, well, that blood don't stop playing that noisy music though, but I do totally enjoy it. And hey, just take a listen, and I'm quite sure, hey, maybe you will enjoy it and start to understand it as well. These guys are great, and we've got tons and tons of artists all over Barbados producing all genres of top quality music.
That's
and we play it right here.
Not only in Redhead Studios. I want to thank you so much, Blood, for coming through. You can find him 2 o'clock this afternoon on 94.7 FM for the best afternoon show ever.
You got it right, girl.
So be sure to tune in and rock with Blood on 947 FM. Blood, thanks for showing up, man. I knew you were going to come online.
Yes, indeed, for sure.
See you later.
You have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
You too. I'll see you later. Hey, be sure to listen in to Mr. Blood on 94.7 FM. You won't be disappointed. So we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're talking natural health as we continue to talk about taking care of ourselves. We're going to look at the ways that we prepare food and how that can maintain the nutrients that the body needs. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
98.1 The One is more than a station. We don't just play music, we keep you company, cheer you up, keep you informed and entertained. We are a vibe. What do you mean?
Every day we bring the party to you.
We are your #1 party station.
We love playing music for our listeners. And we're committed to working with our clients and advertisers to make sure that you get the attention that you deserve.
98.1 The One, celebrating 18 and still your #1 party station.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kia Lewis, General Practitioner and Healthy Lifestyle Advocate. Good nutrition starts at home. So this school year, I want you to consider packing healthy, nutritious snacks and lunches for your children to carry, rather than having them buy them at school. And don't just pack things you think they should have. Have a discussion and come.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so naturopath Dr. Dale Brathwaite is with us again this morning. And we've been talking over the last 2 weeks about sinuses.
Yes.
And about really tackling that, because there are a lot of people who, they have challenges with dealing with their sinusitis, if that's what they have, or just what's happening in the environment. So we're going to share some interesting information for people to be able to make some good choices. So I see that you start by talking about phytochemicals. What are phytochemicals?
It is a defense system within the plants that help the plant not to be eaten by maybe viruses, bacteria, germs, and fungi, and so forth. And those phytochemicals are also basically found in our berries, in our kiwis, in our pumpkin, in our cucumbers and stuff. So introducing phytochemicals into your diet, whereby you're eating a diet of 75% raw vegetables, helps the individual to build the capacity in responding to pathogens. So the same kind of strength that it has for the plant, it likewise has for the human. For example, an assistant to that is the whole issue of chlorophyllin or chlorophyll, plant blood. It also helps our blood. Research shows that chlorophyll is one of the closest components to human blood. So by using green or lots of green leafy vegetables and pretty foods, you're building your capacity with chlorophyll that also helps you to push back against microbes that can come into the body, and the list goes on.
Okay, so green leafy vegetables is what you're working toward, first of all. You talk about the fact that steaming can be useful. I know a lot of people told me about doing that, but I would imagine there's a right and wrong way to steam.
Yes, if an individual has doing it the stove approach, and it so happens that they have hair like yours and not like mine at this time, you can create a problem for yourself. So I recommend there are steamers, or even the steamers that you can use in pressing your clothing. That is one. There are, as far as I know, there are other like facial bowl ones that you can have. There's a third one that you have a string around your head and just put it on your nose. So there are a few types. And one that I know is about just about $100. I don't want to advertise a product per se, but you can use that, and it targets the nostrils and the mouth, and you hold it away from your body for about 1.5 feet or so, because that steam is heat, and too close it can burn you.
Okay.
So you will have problems. But what the steaming does, that it helps with the mucosal lining. It helps to reduce the mucus that may be getting hard, that you can blow your nose, gently and a little better. It helps to kill the bacteria that may be collected and not the body fighting it off through swallowing, through sneezing, that kind of stuff. So the steaming helps with that, and it reduces the what I would call the pathogen load in the nostrils.
So is it just steaming water, or are we adding essential oils? What are we doing with this water?
All right, let me just sidestep that question a bit. I use water only.
Okay, only water.
Right.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to know.
I don't put in no oils, no nothing.
So just the water.
Just water.
All right, I hear that.
In my machine. If
All
you're
right.
doing the stove, some people have another approach. But
Yeah. For me, the adding of the oils and stuff, it burns my eyes.
Mhm.
So, you know, the water definitely works for me. Then you talk about sleeping with a sliced onion. I've heard somewhat about that. Tell us more.
all right, let's start with your refrigerator. One of the things with onions is that it sucks pathogens out of the environment. And if perchance, you know, we say things tight, so you cut an onion and put it back in the fridge, it is going to suck things out of the fridge, the bacteria and so forth. Likewise, if you're using onions, eat them one time and close to raw, slightly sauteed, and well, I sound like a chef, but it ain't too bad. Likewise, when you put uncooked onions in your room, I take an onion and I sleep with them every night. And you cut it in 4 and just a moderate size, maybe like that, and you put it in 4 corners and you sleep better. It
Wow.
clears the environment for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. You also talk about not sleeping flat and how that can contribute to having challenges with sinusitis.
Well, in many instances, similar to esophageal reflux, sinus challenges come with when you lay flat. And for example, if you eat at a particular time, less than 2 hours before you go to bed, and it is a heavy meal, one of the things you need to do is to put that pillow or prop just about 45 degrees, because the esophageal reflux comes from stress as well, heavy eating at night and so forth. So that position helps with the drainage factor, and you get a sense of less choking, because you know you're not going to lay flat. For example, dealing or working with people, telemedicine, with COVID and so forth, I ask them not to lay flat. When you
Yeah.
start coughing, don't do that, because coughing is also a signal to me that your bronchial system is under challenge or under threat. So I've told all the persons between 2019 and going forward not to do that. And a lot of them, I haven't lost a case to COVID so far.
All right, and then finally, quickly, the last thing is to get in exercise at least every 48 hours, you say?
Yes, what that does, your whole bronchial system is dependent on toning. And with sinusitis, next week we'll get into some more, God willing. With sinusitis, your exercising causes the blood vessels and so forth in the nostrils to be toned, and it helps you to breathe even better. For example, with most sinus-related challenges that carries the itis at the end, what happens is that there's a restriction in your breathing, and there's a tendency to breathe through your mouth. When you do that, the lower register in the lungs don't get that heated air, and you will have a tendency to tweak towards asthma. So sometimes, based on the environment, an individual will be bringing in pathogens. Since our oxygen intake is 80% of our energy, we're now compromised that load, and the oxygen level to the lungs, we will be in trouble. So the heated oxygen and how the whole system works, that is now being compromised. So you're only getting oxygenated blood in its proper proportions up to the top. You
All
need
right.
a whole value going forward.
All right, time goes so quickly. So get your phytochemicals in. Make sure you try steaming. Sleep with a sliced onion as an option. And don't sleep on your back. And remember to get in a little bit of exercise as well. Thank you, Dr. Dale Brathwaite. We definitely will be sharing some of these online for people to be able to use and get some relief from the sinusitis, because it most certainly feels like at night it gets absolutely worse. So thank you for coming in. As always, we'll see you again next Monday.
God willing, yes.
All right, and that's it from us. Coming up tomorrow, we have conversations on CARICOM with Ambassador Comachong, Pediatric Care with Dr. Birchwood, St. Matthias Anglican Church. They're having a wine and cheese event. We'll tell you more about that. Plus, the next chapter, we're introducing you to some more books, and we continue our discussion on grief and loss, the education series. That and so much more tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So remember, as you go through the day today, to wear your smiles, do something nice for someone, and God willing, come on back to me tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.